it's an interesting dynamic now. I mean, I said after the interview, a bit of a snap reaction, that the Usyk Fury fight is dead. It's obviously not dead, it's still a big fight, but the value of that fight has plummeted because really you want to see him rematch Francis Ngannou. And I think Francis Ngannou now sits there with plenty of opportunities. I still believe, I saw some comments today online, people saying, Ngannou should come back with a follow-up fight with a lower level opponent. Bad idea. Really, really bad idea, because there is a chance that he got lucky on Saturday night in some respects. You can't take away from the performance. But trust me when I say he can get beat by any heavyweight in the top 50 in the world. I promise you. Showing on Saturday, maybe he could beat them. The risk of that, what you have to do if you're Francis Ngannou now, is you have to rematch Tyson Fury or you have to fight Anthony Joshua. And, I've been in touch with some of their guys and people in Saudi Arabia as well. And if Usyk has to fight Fury, which I believe he will, AJ against Francis Ngannou, it is, and the winner fights the winner of the other fight. And listen, I keep saying beats Tyson Fury. I think he did, but whatever. And beats Anthony Joshua, he should fight for the world heavyweight title in 2 fights. So that way you're getting the credibility.
What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. So, we just had some off-the-rip comments there from Eddie Hearn. This guy a joker. Anyone from the top 50 can beat Ngannou, bro. I understand. Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua are similar in terms of stature, but that is all they are similar in terms of. My point? Eddie, you keep getting confused, yeah? Stop making it racial, okay? Just because Ngannou and AJ may look a little similar, don't mean they're the same person. And you keep getting the names twisted between AJ and Ngannou. AJ is the one who can be beat by anyone in the top 50 at a moment's notice. How do we know this? Well, we've seen him in there with top 50 Franklin. We've seen him in there with top 50 2 days notice Bumlenius. Going on life and death and there. We have not seen Francis Ngannou in there with any top 50 or any top 10 going life and death. In fact, he was in there with a pound for pound number 1 GOAT of all time, punching him up, popping his cherry, putting him flat on his back. Yeah? That's the evidence we have of Ngannou about don't put Ngannou in there with a mid-level fight because he can lose to any of them. You were a joker, Eddie, and I wouldn't mind if Eddie was based, yeah? If Eddie was out here lyricking, telling the truth about AJ, I'd say, well, Eddie, Mr. Apples and Pears, he's consistent, he's honest. But the fact you tell us AJ knocked Fury out, knocked Wilder out, knocked Ngannou out, and then you're sitting here, oh, well, Ngannou would also lose to top 50. That is not only disingenuous, it makes you a cuck for AJ. It wouldn't surprise me if Eddie Hearn, he'd be flying AJ in for Miss Hearn. That's what it looks like to me. Sounds like a man who's cucked. Yeah? It's the bottom line. How else can you slag off Ngannou? Now, to be fair, Eddie Hearn wasn't slagging off Ngannou, but that is slagging him off. To watch what we saw at the weekend, and then to conclude Ngannou can't fight a top 50 because he can get knocked out by any of them, what planet are you on? AJ can't even not get knocked out by any top 50, if that makes sense. And AJ is no good. AJ, if anyone could be knocked out by top 50, it'd be AJ. Ngannou's in there with number 1 puncher, who at the time, people, last night, Tyson Fury was the number 1 puncher in heavyweight division. Fact. Ngannou went in there with the number 1 puncher in the heavyweight division, and the shots bounced off. We didn't even see Ngannou take a back step from said shots. I was actually surprised. He took the shots and was almost laughing and smiling. And you're out here telling me about Ngannou top 50. Now, one thing I will say to respect Eddie is, I'm glad Eddie is pushing for the Ngannou fight. Why? Because he gets smoked. AJ will get smoked. And this is the kind of fight Ngannou needs. Why not? Smoke on AJ. Should it be next? I actually think not. I actually disagree with Eddie. I think Ngannou has now shown he's so serious, there's no rush. Ngannou's in a position for me like Canelo. He's good enough here where he can fight 3 top 20 fights over the next year. People like Chisora, people like Joe Joyce. I'd probably go Chisora first. Chisora's more washed up. So I'd go Chisora first, then a Joyce, and then kind of like the AJs. Well, to be fair, AJ, I think Joe Joyce beats AJ, but certainly Chisora. Ngannou versus Chisora will be a great fight. Why? They're both powerful. They're both got it'll be a great fight in terms of entertainment value. It's not going to be a political one, or certainly it will be less political than Ngannou and Fury was. Chisora's the perfect one. Chisora comes to fight, Chisora comes to get knocked out, kind of thing. Let's let Ngannou get his teeth wet in boxing now, because really he hasn't got his teeth wet. He went in there with the hardest punching, the best heavyweight of all time in his first fight, and he looked great. So why not now take a step down and actually learn your craft? There's no way Ngannou could learn his craft against Fury. He was, but it's not ideal, is it? I'm not saying he goes back to square one and fight bums, but Joe Joyce, Daniel Dubois, these are all good fights, right? Big bulls. Joyce is slow and big. Dubois is slow and big. Put Ngannou in there with him. But again, Chisora makes sense to be first. Chisora, then the Dubois, then the Joyces, then the AJs. Well, AJ, Dubois and Joyce are all in the same league in my opinion. I'd love to see a round robin. Dillian White and Chisora. That's the league. So I've got Joe Joyce and Dubois is above Dillian White for me. But again, we need to see these fights. And that's why I like what Ngannou's done. Ngannou's potentially reinvigorated the sport for what it's worth. But then again, no, he hasn't, because AJ, Dillian White, Joe Joyce and Dubois, them four need a round robin. Even maybe throw Wilder in there. That's what them man need to be doing right now, all fighting each other. Dubois, AJ, White, Joyce, and maybe Wilder. I still think Wilder's a bit more premium, but still, throw him in there. Them 5 man should be all mingling up. Instead, they got their hand out. AJ got his hand out for Ngannou. Ngannou did what AJ couldn't do, and that's mollywop Fury. Now the sad thing is for AJ, and the sad thing for the sport is, back in the day I told you that I think AJ beats Fury. Now we can see why I was right, or not why I was right, but now you can. What Ngannou did against Fury, that was the baseline of what we were talking about. If anything, AJ should have been more aggressive. Back in the day, we thought AJ would stop Fury, and actually, after what we saw, I tend to agree now. As it happens, AJ does not have the chin Ngannou has. Ngannou's like the real AJ. Ngannou's like the real 2017 AJ. He's got a chin, he can punch, and he's not scared to get hit. Ngannou's the real deal, people. So for a man to demonstrate them kind of real deal skills, and for Eddie Hearn to come on here saying, "Oh, don't let him fight top 50." No, Eddie, that's what you need to be thinking. In fact, that is what you're thinking, because only a beta male who's been dealing with a beta male in AJ would be thinking that way. Wait a minute, we've just punched up the lineal pound for pound #1 heavyweight of all time. Why would we need to be thinking about top 50 for? I tell you who thinks about top 50. Anthony Joshua and his team, who have been struggling with top 50. Franklin struggled top 50. The other clown. Bumlenius, on 2 days' notice, you were struggling until you found a lucky shot, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? You're the one who's worried about top 50. Ngannou ain't worried about none. Ngannou ain't worried about the pound for pound #1 GOAT of all time. He smoked on him already. So stop being disingenuous, Eddie. Yeah? And at this point, I'm not even sure Eddie Hearn wants the Ngannou fight. I think Eddie Hearn potentially is posturing. Because, don't forget, they were supposed to make the Wilder fight. What happened to that? It went all quiet somehow. How'd that go quiet? Meanwhile, Wilder's making videos begging. Wilder wants to fight. Yeah? AJ apparently wants to fight, but it's not happening, and now he's talking about Ngannou. This, for me, might be a PR campaign. AJ's on the circuit just calling out, doing a bit like what Fury used to do. AJ on the circuit calling out everyone, not fighting no one, no. I hate to say it, but that's how it's looking. And it just is. Why wouldn't the AJ fight versus Wilder be happening in Wembley? Oops. There's no reason it shouldn't be happening there, people. Now, if I'm wrong, and AJ genuinely fights Ngannou, again, this has invigorated the sport. Ngannou versus AJ is interesting for me. The same way Wilder versus AJ is interesting for me. Why? Because we get to see how... I'm intrigued to see which way Ngannou can knock AJ out. That's the God's honest truth. It's coming. It's a case of how it coming, kind of thing. And I want to see... AJ is the kind of fight where Ngannou can work on being dangerous. Now, AJ's no scrub, so Ngannou will have to think about what's coming back. But that's what makes it intriguing. Yeah? And Ngannou, who beats AJ... particularly if he stops him. If Ngannou finds a way to stop AJ, then a Fury rematch or a Usyk fight is going to be a wrap. Because if Ngannou is able to negotiate power and find a way to get his own power in, it's over for Fury next time. What Ngannou struggled with was negotiating what Fury was doing to get his own shots off. So Ngannou needs some high-level fights where he's worried about what's coming back, but is able to still capitalise. That's what was missing. Ngannou was too focused on what's coming back and wasn't enough focused on what he's doing. But again, for his first fight, we can't complain. An AJ fight's perfect. And I'm going to find a way to knock this guy out without taking too much damage myself. If he solves that puzzle, it's over for Fury. Regardless of that puzzle, it's over for Usyk in my opinion. Ngannou won't have to worry about what's coming back from Usyk. But we've seen Usyk in there skilling up big bodybuilder before. But Ngannou for me is more like Zhang. Ngannou and Zhang are very similar. They're big. I mean, Ngannou is just an alien because he can switch hit too. Never seen that before. Not only switch hit, he was making switch hit look good. So Ngannou can go in there, yeah, switch hit with Usyk, and he's got the heavy-handedness, and he got the speed, and he got the counter-punching. All things AJ doesn't have. AJ does not have the IQ. AJ does not have the defense. AJ is not as big as Ngannou's a weight division. Ngannou and Zhang are weight divisions above AJ. AJ coming in 240. Ngannou 275 and lean. That's 2-3 weight division, people. So there's levels to this game. And that's why I hate to say it, but for me, right now, well, really, the number one heavyweight in the world is wide open. But if I gun to my head, the number one heavyweight in the world for me right now is either Zhilei Zhang or Francis Ngannou. Number 2 would be Tyson Fury, and number 3 would be Usyk. Yeah, Zhang and Ngannou are number 1, Fury's number 2, Usyk's number 3, and everyone else just like 6, 7, 8 down from there. Because Usyk's a level above AJ, so it's not even a case of if Usyk's number 3, yeah, AJ's like number 6. AJ's the next best lot. AJ Joyce and Wilder. I'd put Usyk number 3, Wilder number 4, and then AJ number 6 kind of thing. AJ and the rest of them are number 6. They're the level below Wilder kind of thing. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. The great thing is, this is making the sport interesting again. Ngannou's in one fight made a whole lot. And the last thing I'll say is, which I found interesting, Eddie Hearn said, the Fury and Ngannou fight has made the Usyk fight less appealing. I disagree. It's now more appealing. Why? Because now Usyk, this fight's become 50-50. Before, most people thought it would be a kind of a standard procedure for Fury. But now, it's like, damn, this fight is actually, we might actually see Alexander Usyk go undisputed. So no, I disagree completely. This is the best thing that could have happened for Undisputed. On paper. Now, practically speaking, this is the worst thing that's happened for Fury versus Usyk. Why? If there's ever a time for Fury not to take this fight, it's now. He ain't going to want it. If there's ever a time, if Fury didn't want it before, he ain't going to want it now. He's been outboxed by a big bodybuilder. UFC bodybuilder. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, and look out about 100%. No doubt, people.